Welcome to Good Game, I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
Well, Bajo, we're entering that time of year where the big guns start blasting away at our gaming time. Last week we had PlayStation VR and Gears of War 4. Next week we're going to have the new Battlefield game and Civilization 6.
Ah, so exciting. But tonight we were offered a review that we couldn't refuse with Mafia 3.
A review we couldn't refuse. A review we couldn't refuse. It's the cotton ball.
Yeah, I know, you just looked really funny.
Got something.
Plus we review a powerful first-person mystery thriller called Virginia.
Oh, I can't stop thinking about that game. Also on the show, Goose is going to chat with the creative director of For Honor, Jason VandenBerghe.
Oh my God.
Okay, Hex, let's get on with the show.
Yes, but can you name the game for this week?
You are nothing.
We made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And he refused.
Hey, wise guy, good job trying to outrun us, bunny. You ain't done too good, though, and now you're dead.
There's no rats on the loose. We gotta make tracks. Let's just carry him.
Oh, Big Tony, my back ain't so good, you know. I hyperextended it reaching for some spaghetti last night. Oh!
What are you, some kind of comedian? Look at me, I can't lift that much weight. The irony is, Big Tony's very petite.
Well, how about we wrap him up in that there rug and drag him? Easy on the lower back.
All right. What was that?
Oh, Mother Mary and Gaben, I thought I was done whacking him.
Clearly you didn't finish the job.
Oh, I don't want to get pinched, Big Tony. I don't wear prison well.
Quit your crying and go put on some music. I'll make this go away.
Sorry, wise guy, but you keep spoiling Mafia 3 for us, and it's all about the story, you know?
They don't call him Lucy Goose Lips for nothing.
Oh, come on, boss. It wasn't a spoiler. But I guess in Chapter 3 we'll link
Hey, Goosey. No one likes a squealer.
Kiss my ass.
There you. Ha!
Boy, let my top! A man's soul can only carry so much.
Nobody kills that prick but me.
He wore the finest suits.
It's been 6 years since we experienced life as a mafioso in the pretty good open world game Mafia 2. But times they are a-changing, and now we get to tackle a very different type of gangster lifestyle with Mafia 3.
You play as Lincoln Clay, a Vietnam War vet returning to the city of New Bordeux, a fictional New Orleans in the late 60s.
A modern city with traditional Southern values.
And that setup doesn't really scream out with mafia cliches when you hear it, does it?
No, it's certainly a unique take on the genre. Obviously, we weren't alive in late 60s New Orleans, so we can't speak with much authority on the culture and people of the time, but there's some pretty confronting racism on display here.
That's not the only
And
reason.
you wish me to kill the nigger? I will do that for you as well. I enjoy killing the niggers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they actually put a pretty big warning at the start of the game saying that while they don't in any way condone racist behavior, they felt it was important to be authentic to the period and where the game is set.
Yeah, and I think they've done a good job with it. They've handled it well. And you know, it's just there in the world. So you're walking around and you hear it. It's so common, and that in itself is really shocking.
Get a statement from the police. Chief Wilson, you care to make a comment? It's those goddamn niggers. Every last one of them needs to be rounded up and shot.
It certainly creates an interesting backdrop for the narrative. Mafia games have always been very story-focused, and that's definitely the case here. They've put a lot of work into those cutscenes, and the motion capture is just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, the cutscenes are great, and the motion capture in-game too. The animations are beautiful. You can see they put a lot of effort into getting strong performances out of their actors.
There it is. Oh! And look at what I dug up. You mind pouring one more of those?
And there's some excellent cinematography at times too.
Oh, I hope this combination Skeletor got us is legit.
They framed the story with interviews and archives of people recalling certain characters and events of the story that you play through.
Yeah, it's a bit like that TV show Band of Brothers. It's really engaging, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's different, but it helps the world feel a little bit more fleshed out, I think.
Yeah, let's get to the story. Without spoiling too much, the gist is that after coming back from the war and working with the mob for a while, Lincoln and his adopted family get stabbed in the back.
Oh, possibly the baddest motherfucker I ever laid my eyes on. She shouldn't have said no.
Cue a quest for revenge.
And that all happens in an excellent but very long setup that happens before the open world opens up. Which, for me, was where things started to fall apart a little bit.
What's he thinking?
I went in expecting a really current, ambitious open world experience, but it really didn't deliver on that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's some great stuff and then there's some really average and tedious stuff. It's a bit underwhelming, which makes me sad.
So, as we said, once you're out in the open world, you're on a mission for revenge against the old Italian mob boss Marcano after he tried and failed to kill you.
But nothing you do will bring any of them back.
This isn't about bringing them back, or even exacting some street justice. It's about making that bastard feel what it's like to lose everything. Watch as I take it all away from him.
And to get to him, you'll need some help, so you recruit 3 underboss types. There's a drunk Irish man who can deliver cars to you,
What may help?
a voodoo shop owner who supplies you with guns,
Fear drives people to seek out all manner of protection.
No weapon formed against us shall prosper, right?
Not with a 45 in my hand.
and Vito Scalita, who can pick up your cash for you.
I'm expecting a cut of everything you bring in.
Yeah, I know how this shit works. You'll get your money.
And some of you may remember Vito as the main protagonist from Mafia 2. I didn't really, but still it was nice to see a friendly face.
Well, the main thing you do in this game is go on racket dismantling missions. Basically, you'll find someone in an area who'll tell you about nearby rackets.
Turned it into a brothel.
And then you have to cause a specific amount of damage to them in the area.
Once you clock up enough damage, you go back and talk to the same person who will lead you to a boss that you can take out.
Well, what you gonna do, nigger? This.
Do that, and you can claim the racket for one of your underbosses.
After you've taken down enough rackets, a new story mission will open up, allowing you to take out one of Marcano's major lieutenants, or capos. I don't know what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Local businessman Louis Marcano also lost his...
This will then trigger a sit-down with you and your bosses, and they'll all fight to convince you to assign the area to them.
I also figure you ought to just keep us there. Give me the keys to the kingdom, partner.
Don't lose your head here.
Doing this will increase the revenue that boss gets, and that's how you get access to all of their perks. The more revenue they have, the more powerful the perks they can offer you. It's a good system, and they're useful. Things like the ability to make the cops go away and turn a blind eye for a while.
I need you to handle the cops in South Downs.
Or call in a hit squad.
Got targets lined up in South Downs.
Or shut down the phone lines to stop witnesses reporting any crimes.
Some help with phones.
Line just went dead.
Personally though, I always like to take a more hands-on approach to that last one because it is so fun stopping civilians from making phone calls.
Fuck it, I'm calling the cops.
You didn't see nothing. Stop it.
Welcome to the party, lad.
I quite liked the idea of the sit-downs, and I think it's clever how the bosses all react to the choices you've made before.
You trusted me with the last piece of the city. No reason to not trust me with this one as well.
You got a plan for this territory, right?
I like that if you don't assign enough districts to a boss, then they can get the shits and even become an enemy.
Gonna need Vito to run this turf.
You are one brilliantly decisive mother.
You tested me in ways I don't like, Lincoln. Eventually, I'll have nothing left to give.
Is this over? Because I really need to go drop a load in the bog.
Yeah, I mean, that never really happened for me, though. I found it was pretty easy to just divvy stuff up between everyone and keep them all happy.
Yeah, it is maybe a bit too easy. In fact, I don't think I actually like the whole racket business dismantling gameplay loop. It's not very satisfying. You're constantly running the same side mission over and over.
My crew will be in touch.
I like it in open world games where you can do a story mission whenever you want. You know, you're not forced to do side stuff. When they force you to do all the side stuff, for me, that just makes it feel more like work instead of play.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of busy work for sure, and not really a lot going on in the world to keep you distracted in between. I mean, you can find collectibles, but that's about it. Which is a shame because the world just kind of feels dull and beige because of that. I can see what they were going for. They wanted a kind of 70s treatment on everything, but the result is more sort of washed out and lifeless.
Yeah, they didn't really nail the look. It wasn't striking enough, was it? And also I feel like the open world design was a bit tedious, but the story wasn't good enough to make up for that. Whereas with like L.A. Noire, for example, like the open world on that was rubbish. There was nothing to do, it was boring, and just kind of walking around. But the story was so good, I didn't care.
The characters are incredible.
But then you get like GTA, right?
Yeah, that kind of sets the standard for open world design and all the things that you can do. It's like, it's a virtual playground.
Yeah, it feels so alive too, like the story's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
But
this is racket missions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also not many landmarks or areas that are particularly memorable, so overall the city doesn't leave much of an impression. It all feels very gamey. But you know, Hex, having said all that, this is still a very different setting to your usual open world games. You know, the cars, the music. Clothes.
Oh, totally. I'm not a car person at all, except when I play games like this.
Yeah.
And plus, yeah, the music, it's just beautiful.
It's so good. And all of that is actually enough for me to stay in this game. Also, they dropped a PC patch a few days after launch, which fixed a lot of the visual glitches I was getting and upped the frame rate, which is good. And all of it popped a bit more then too.
Yeah, I mean, graphically, honestly, I was still a little bit disappointed. I mean, you know, the city kind of looks a bit featureless when you really look in the distance, and also the kind of clouds and skyboxes were a bit fuzzy at times.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. But in the interiors, the detail's really high, and I think that's actually where the game is at its best, in those firefights.
Oh, yeah, they were the absolute best bits of the game, taking you on fun gunfights through interesting locations like a drowned fun park or sinking boats. I just wish there were a few more of those story missions.
The gunplay is functional and pretty satisfying. Some of the weapons do sound a little hollow, but there's good ragdoll, which makes the fights feel punchy.
Now I get to whoop.
You're never really forced to change up weapons, though. A machine gun and a pistol is pretty much all you ever need. It's still fun, though. There's simple stealth mechanics that we've seen many times before, but they do help mix things up. Also, the AI is pretty easy to exploit. They're pretty dumb. I felt like every enemy had 3 lines of dialogue, and then they would say that and turn around, just ready for me to come and stab them in the back. Come on, guys. Have a longer conversation. Turn around, guys. Turn around. Guard the entry.
Those stealth takedowns are brutal, though, aren't they?
Yeah, and Lincoln himself can seem like a cold-hearted murderer. I found it really hard to root for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's going up against some pretty horrible and racist people. I never really felt that sorry for them.
Again, this is a fine specimen, no visible injuries or scars, and examined personally by Mr. Moreau's doctors.
Please.
Jess has got them niggers around Briscoe.
Thank you.
And I think they've developed him well enough as a character that you buy his motivations. Plus, you make the connection that some of the stuff he's seen in Nam has scarred him for life.
I try to fight them off, but they hold me down, tie my hands together, stuff a muddy rag in my mouth so I can't scream, can't warn the men sleeping next to me. And then I gotta listen as all those men die.
Well, we should wrap this up. Final thoughts?
Well, there's a lot to like. There's a lot of boring stuff as well, and it makes me so sad. I was really looking forward to this game. But then again, that soundtrack, it just kind of pulls me back into it. You know, it's up there with GTA Vice City in terms of nailing the vibe and the culture of the time. So I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell they've worked really hard on the story, and I like that they weren't afraid to deal with some really tough themes. I'm going to give it 3 as well.
I appreciate this.
And now here's Goose with the creative director on For Honor, Jason VandenBerghe.
Oh my God!
Hi guys.
Oh dear.
Just to make sure, I can't see very well.
No.
Hello. This is going to be difficult. Good to see you, Jason.
Hello.
Oh, I didn't think this through. Can I get a hand with this?
Here we go.
Thank you. Oh, that's better. Hello.
Hi.
I've gone with a look.
I can see that.
It's a bit of a pick and mix of the armor. But let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
Now, For Honor, it's kind of bastardized history a bit, hasn't it?
A bit.
Whose idea was that? Okay, that was you.
Sorry.
How did you guys combine, I think it's 3 different eras?
Knights, Vikings, and Samurai.
Yes.
Who absolutely did not fight each other historically.
That never happened?
Didn't happen.
Right.
It's a made-up thing.
I've already forgotten a piece of history now.
There you go.
It.
But it should have happened.
It should have.
And
History wasn't entertaining enough.
That's right. I think anyone who has wondered or has ever had a sword fighting fantasy has often wondered, who would win in a fight?
Yeah.
Knight or samurai.
So was that the question that you went, right, we can build a whole game around this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough.
We went then deeper and we said, hey, we can create a world with that concept, and we've got this world where these great medieval legacies sort of grew for thousands of years, and then this horrible cataclysm struck and sort of reset the board, and now they've all been sort of smashed back together, and now they're growing back out of that horrible period of darkness, starting to bump up against each other, right? Mm-hmm. Surrounded by all of this war technology and these amazing castles from their ancestors, right? And they're just starting to figure out how they all work. I mean, world building is a lot of fun. You'd have these doubts, right? You're like, well, is this gonna work? And then you would just say, it's Knights, Vikings, and Samurai, and everyone would go, yeah,
just had that on a big,
great,
on a poster in the office. Yeah. Every time someone had a question, just point to that.
Knights, Vikings, and Samurai, man.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a question of warrior values, I think. Everyone knows theirs generally, right? I mean, I've asked the question of a lot of people, and everyone kind of has an answer. You have the knight gear on.
Look,
that may
again,
have just been the
let's not draw attention to what is
your amazing outfit.
I am wearing leg armor on my arm.
Those are leg pieces. Those are shin guards.
Those are shin guards. But no one's ever tried to wear them on their arms.
Amazing.
So, look, I'm probably going to go Viking every time, just because, the beard. How can you go past it? That was another question I had. Like, is the beard a big part of the sword and board hack and slashery?
For the Vikings? Absolutely.
Good. Is there beard customization?
There are different kinds of beards you can get on different characters. Not exactly the level of beard customization I think you're hoping for.
I'm okay with that.
But it leaves us room to expand.
DLC beards, I can get behind that. Now with the combat, because obviously that's the focus of the game, and you've got these sort of one-on-one duels that you're having with a bigger battle around them. How important is it to make sure that players can focus on some really intricate battle styles and not get distracted and just want to run around and dive roll everywhere and actually have a focused fight?
Well, the whole core of the game is that art of battle, that lock-on, you and me fighting, right? That's really where the game sort of comes to life, right? We have a 1v1 duel mode where you can just do that, and people love it, right? They love to just go at it with that way. One of the great strengths of that Dominion mode and that style of play is that you can kind of do whatever you want, right? Like, as long as you're swinging your sword at somebody, you're earning points, right? As long as you're in the battle in some way, you're helping your team win. And so it was finding a balance so that we had activities for all different kinds of players. You have those hyper-aggressive hunter-killers who are going after other players. You have the action people who want to get in there in the middle of that lane.
What do you have for the guy who just likes to dive roll around the battle and just try and confuse people?
If what you're doing is occupying other players on the enemy team, if you're preventing them from scoring, that's kind of the same thing as adding score to your team, right?
Yeah.
So, it's an effective tactic.
It's a tactic.
It's taunting, right? It's live trolling. Right? So if you can get them to follow you around, good on you.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you guys draw on any other games that have focused on sort of that sword fighting mechanic, things like War of the Roses, even Dark Souls to an extent? Are you a fan of those games?
I've played everything in this genre and always have. I have the original Bushido Blade disc sitting on my mantle at home, right? This is it. This is the game, right?
Yeah.
This is the if it has swords and this kind of fighting in it, I've played it. But this core idea of lock system with the stances, there really isn't anything like that.
Why do you think it's taken till now to get that real art of, staring another player and just circling around menacingly?
The key things are, first, someone had to have the idea, right? And I just got lucky on that one. But I think most importantly, what we've learned in building it is it's really hard.
Yeah.
The amount of technology that we needed to make this thing function, right, and make the whole thing work, it really wasn't possible at this scale until this generation. And then we needed to have teams that knew about how to build all those pieces together and stuff. It was sort of a perfect storm of the idea hitting the right group of people at the right time, etc. I think the secret sauce inside For Honor is that when you pick up that controller and you lock on and you start moving that sword around with the stick, right? You start to swing. For whatever reason, instead of it happening here in your head, you're not thinking about it sort of intellectually. It happens down here in the lizard brain. It's like you're...
It's a core thing that we've all got.
Yeah, you've got that part of your brain. As humans, we've been hitting each other with weapons for a long time,
You
right?
guys are just finding that as a mechanic and going, right, we can exploit this.
Yeah, I mean,
game around
well, that's kind of what games are, kind of this way with systems that hook into behaviors that we as humans have that we don't get to do in our normal life, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason I say that is because when people start playing, they immediately start...
Yeah.
Right? And that's really, you can see when people are really engaged and they believe it and it's coming from their lower brain, right? I think it's you start to see it in their body.
Well, this isn't the first time you've experimented with swordplay in games. Obviously, you worked on Red Steel 2.
I did.
Was there anything that you took from that development into this?
The team.
Sure.
It's like a huge part of the Red Steel 2 team came over. A lot of the expertise and just the experience of what makes hitting things fun, right? We really brought that with that whack experience, right? How to make that really, how that really satisfied.
Did you guys go and get hands-on with this kind of stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it research?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a whole rack of, like, wooden...
There's a sword in your cane, isn't there?
You know, if I could get away with it, there absolutely would be. I mean, you know, I was going to Ren fairs when I was a kid. You know, I got hooked on this when I was 6.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, I've had collections of, you know, wooden weapons at my house for as long as I can. I mean, I'm that guy, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going away. It's not. I mean, look at what this is what I do with my life. I make sword fighting games.
Exactly. Jason, thanks so much for talking to us.
Absolutely.
I'm going to just sort of quietly try and slink out of here.
Good
Can
luck
you help me put that on?
Yeah, this is
If I do
be a
that.
thing.
And if I just... It's, look, again, it's not the right... It's one from that.
Here we go.
Thank you so much. It's not on quite straight. Can you just try to knock? There it is. Thank you very much. And best luck with the game.
Good luck getting out of here.
Thanks.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It's been a treat.
Virginia is a short narrative experience from indie developer Variable State. Now, Bajo, this is a walk 'em up, which I know you're not usually a fan of.
Yes, I do prefer to have actual gameplay in my video games.
But this game does actually take influence from 2 things you do like. 1, the game 30 Flights of Loving. And 2, Twin Peaks.
Yes. Virginia is a detective story. You play as Anne Tarver, a freshly graduated FBI agent assigned to a missing persons case.
And that's really all it is, a story rather than a game.
Yeah, interactive drama, according to the developers. There is walking and some clicking, but the way Virginia is designed means you're not really encouraged to spend much time exploring the environment.
No, you're led through quite deliberately, with the on-screen reticule letting you know where the next point of interest is to guide you forward. Not only that, but the game rather abruptly jump cuts you through several scenes.
Yeah, and that's where it's most reminiscent of 30 Flights of Loving, isn't it? That fast-paced direction that yanks you through the story, which at times can be quite erratic. There's also no dialogue and very little text. To say the story is open to interpretation would be an understatement, I think, Hex.
Oh, totally. I mean, I thought I was making sense of it, but the more the story developed, the less certain I became of anything. Where it takes cues from Twin Peaks is the way you're not ever really sure which parts are grounded in reality and which are some surreal dream sequence or vision.
Yes, it makes it very difficult to sift through the relevant pieces of information to form the truth of what happened. What I'm relatively certain of, Agent Tarver is not only assigned to the missing persons case, but also an internal investigation of her partner, Maria Halperin.
Yes, now Tarver seems to battle with her conscience over this, as the two work together to uncover the truth of what happened to the missing boy. But the scenes that play out are so abstract and disjointed, and at times fantastical, that when the game ends you don't feel any more certain of what actually happened than you were when the game began.
There are several repeated symbols and metaphors throughout the experience too. A buffalo, a red bird, a broken key. All of these seem to have a profound meaning, connected to some central truth that you assume will be revealed in the end. but instead you're left with puzzle pieces that don't really fit, so you're kind of just left to form your own abstract picture.
Yeah, I mean, I had to play this twice. Certain that the first time I'd missed some crucial plot point or something, but no, this is just a confounding game. I certainly felt myself drawn into the story. It's definitely emotional and the imagery is very strong.
And that's all helped with a great score too, recorded by a live orchestra.
In fact, it really is incredible just how much is conveyed through simple images. For example, one of the first things you see in the game is Tava looking at herself in the mirror, giving us a literal portrait of this character. You are a woman, you're putting on lipstick, but once she receives her FBI badge, she casts the cosmetic aside as if she's shedding some former self. And it's these little details that make the story powerful.
I found it so amazing how so much emotion was conveyed with these simple character models, and again, without any dialogue. You get a clear sense of things like betrayal, anger, or loneliness through subtle action.
Yeah, the clarity ends there though, doesn't it? I mean, I genuinely enjoyed this, but I do think it will frustrate a lot of people. It leaves you with so many questions and doesn't give you enough matching pieces to form a complete picture, and the result is a little unsatisfying.
It's difficult to discuss without giving too much away, but I agree. I do recommend it as an experience though, just because I love this strangeness and surreal nature of it all.
It's an intriguing way to tell a story.
Yeah, and it does leave you desperate to discuss it with others and hear their theories. But also I think the developers have made a game with an unsolvable puzzle, which is infuriating.
Well, this is a tough one to score. Should we go abstract, Bajo?
Oh yes, I'm gonna score it a dead bird that comes back to life but is actually still dead out of 5.
I'm gonna score it with a ritual mask that is actually my own face. Out of 5.
So did you name the game for this week? It was The Wheel of Time on PC from 1999. Based on the Robert Jordan fantasy novel, it used the Unreal Engine to combine first-person gameplay with elements of role-playing and strategy. And it's unnamed the game because one of its level designers was Matthias Warsch, who was the design director on this week's Mafia 3.
Next week on the show, we make a mess in Shadow Warrior 2.
Also, say Hex, do you love surveys?
I love them.
Yeah, surveys are great. We put one on the Good Game website and we would love to know what you think of the show. To go there, please, go here.
Also, if you haven't been keeping up with our daily show Pocket, then you can check out a very special episode that's online now.
I have no idea where he is. This was your fault.
Nick Boy spent the day hanging out with Xbox chief Phil Spencer to chat about the industry, Aussie games, and lots more.
It's really great, and you can find that on the Pocket YouTube channel.
Well, that's it from us. Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out. Catch you next week.
Yeah, see, you did it. Yeah, you're getting it. Now I'm getting a bit of like pterodactyl velociraptor. Oh, so on point.
Three stars.